Why, hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere. There's going to be a clip of this going out live or recorded, all that goody good stuff. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, you're all doing great out there. It is bright and early on a Sunday morning. So I don't know what some of you do on Sunday mornings, but keep doing what you do. It hasn't hurt your life so far, has it? Be it. That means if you go to church, don't go to church, do whatever. If you go out fishing on Sunday, keep doing that. Because life is short and we have to do what makes us happy. So send your good vibes and all that good stuff towards the girlfriend. She is feeling under the weather. And she has most of the weekend. But today she's running a little bit of a fever. So send her your good vibes this way as she is not feeling well at all. And again, welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. And today's title is Social Experiment. Meaning we're going to be doing a little something here in a little bit. Just to see. I want to do a little bit of a test with, good morning, Mr. Casey. I'm liking the new look on your profile picture. So, again, we're going to be doing a little bit of a social experiment here in just a few moments. We're also going to be talking about an incident that's occurring in my life right now with some artwork. And I'll pull out the piece in question as well. But once we get a few more patrons up in here, I don't know if Roy's going to show up or not. I didn't see him active on any of the social platforms today, Casey. I got a little bit of the sniffles, and I apologize for that. He was active 4 hours ago, so if he did fall asleep, that means he's probably asleep until 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, noon, somewhere in there. So if he did fall asleep, we might not see Roy in the chat today. But welcome everybody that is stopping in, checking in the channel. Here we talk about horror movies, sci-fi movies, comic books, comic book artwork, my comic book artwork, my novel work that I'm doing, book covers for, things of that nature. So, again, today's title is Social Experiment. We will be doing a social experiment just to see something. So it will go silent for a short bit whenever I do this social experiment because I want to see something. Oh, look, Roy did show up. Wow, he isn't sleeping. Holy shit. He must have been on the toilet or something. But good morning, guys. Welcome to the broadcast. Roy, we're going to be doing a little bit of a social experiment here in a minute. We're going to be talking about the artwork debacle that's going on in life right now. That a lot of people have already seen on Facebook that follow me over there. So, but again, welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. And we normally don't do stuff like what we're getting ready to do. But again, I want to see something. And I'm going to give it a few more minutes just to, because I want to check something out. It's going to be a interesting experiment, and I'm not going to dispel what I'm going to do, but you're going to be able to see what I'm going to do here in just a minute, just because I want to see what their AI right here on TikTok catches, what they do, what they see, what they hear. Because as you all know, I've been getting restrictions left and right when I talk about certain things, and that is artwork in general. Whenever I talk about my artwork, show my artwork, and different things that I show and talk about. So this time I'm not going to talk about it. We're just going to do it. Okay. So I'm going to give it 2 more minutes before I start doing it. Not that kind of doing it, you weirdos. And so please stick around. Please be part of this social experiment because I seriously want to test this theory out. And we're getting ready to kick it off here in just a moment. And then we will get into the other topic of the artwork debacle that's happening. And let you guys be the judge. Most of you that are here have weighed in on my Facebook platform and told me your thoughts over there. And I get those thoughts. And again, we'll talk about them more in depth here as we move along. But in 15 seconds, we're going to start the social experiment. And here we go. Everything's falling, so give me a second. I have too many. I have too many. They can't handle it all. Everything's falling off. Sorry, folks. But we're going to continue. I'm going to do it a little different this way. Okay, social experiment. Down. Okay? So now, we're going to give it a moment and see what happens. Good morning, Tammy. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Jump in line. We just did a social experiment. I'm not going to explain what it was. If you were here for it and saw the stuff go through the screen, then you saw the social experiment. Now, I'll talk about it a little bit whenever I post my little clips later. But I wanted to see something. Because, as you know, those of you that come on my channel, I get pissed off with TikTok a lot because I get a restriction. It seems like every time I do something or say something. And it's not being derogatory, it's not being, anything like that. Yeah, it's pretty loud, and I need to get a new one, but this one serves its purpose, and no sense in getting a new one if it ain't broke. Don't fix it, right? Because generally, if you try to fix something that isn't broke, you just fuck it up 100%. And so appreciate you guys being here, checking out the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here, in case we do get that restriction. That way, still people can come in and see the broadcast. Um, so we just did the social experiment. I'm going to give it a couple minutes just to see, because sometimes it takes it a minute or two before it drops the restriction on me. So far, so good. Um, and you saw everything except for some comic books that I didn't pull out. Um, but so far, so good. So if I don't talk about the items while they're there, we're good. And if you don't know what that means, you can hit me up in a DM and I'll explain what I mean. My shirt this morning is based off of Demon Slayer. It is a Itosuke or a Inosuke. No, what the fuck is his name? Ishoka. Ishoka. That's his name. He wears a pig head in battle. He's a regular dude without the mask. But this is from a anime called Demon Slayer. I'm pretty sure it started out as a manga. Uh, a manga. Japanese cartoons and Japanese comic books. But a ton of people love the Demon Slayer series, and it's been out there for a while. You can find it if you're into any of the anime and things of that nature. You can find them out there in the world. You can even find them here on TikTok. Uh, there's certain places that show anime and things like that here on TikTok, or people that talk about them more than I do. I'm not huge on manga or anime, so when people suggest stuff to me, it's just like, okay, I'll check it out. Do I? Yes, I'll check it out. Do I like all of it? No. It's just like when Akira was really big back in the day. Um, People were watching it in droves, uh, and people still watch it today, but it's just not as popular. Just like Ghost in the Shell, that became a whole big phenomenon. Started out with the comic books, started out with some manga, and then it turned quickly into cartoons and or the anime side and the Scarlett Johansson movie of the same name. It was revolutionary. It's revolutionary stuff if you actually look at it. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and I'm not going to knock anime or manga because it outsells some of the uh, Western, if you will, comic books. Most of their interiors are black and white, color covers, and then black and white interiors. Now you get some that have spot color on the inside and things like that. Kind of like what I'm going to do with my comic book because I've sold myself that it's going to be black and white interior and let the artwork speak for itself, you know, instead of colorization and things of that nature. Um, so we're really close to having this complete. I just have to add the blood splatter coming off of his machete. Machete. Machete kills. Right there. Still in the process of working on the huge 18 by 24 piece over here. You did get to see one of the sketch covers I'm working on, uh, just because, just for fun, just for funsies. But it will be, you know, you know. Again, I'm not going to say any words um, that will get us a restriction. Okay. Um. So social experiment down. So far, so good. And I will just point right there. I'm not sure yet. I've got to look at my colors because, like right here, 10 red, or I use my watercolor and go that route. I just haven't decided which way I want to go yet. Um, because it would be crimson, most likely, on my, uh, if I had to guess, on my watercolor side. Now, if I went in with acrylic, I've got 8 different reds that I could use, from bright red to flag red to candy apple red to so on and so forth. There's not one that they specifically call blood red in the paint world that I have seen anyway. Do I have sanguine? I do not. That is something. I mean, I might have it in a marker somewhere, but I haven't seen that one. I've got markers everywhere. um, Literally, I have about 75 markers sitting right here next to me. I've got another 200 in a box back here, that are laying down to keep the ink fluidity on both ends because everything I pretty much use is a dual tip, meaning it's got a thin tip on one side and a thicker tip on the other. And then I've got a box of markers right down here at my feet that's probably about another 150 to 200 if I had to guess right down here. So all in all, I probably have about, mm, if I had to guess, probably about 500 markers laying around. Now, granted, some of them are dry, and I've got to go through them and get rid of them. So if anybody out there wants to gift me a set of markers, that'd be cool. TikTok, your AI summary really does suck. You need to listen a lot better. Here's their AI summary and how smart AI really is. Creating a Demon Slayer comic book with watercolor and markers. Was that any way, shape, or form the topic I was talking about? Absolutely not. This just proves how AI sucks, okay? Um, because that is definitely not what we were talking about. But no, we've got plenty of different reds. I mean, even one of the red right here, which is the same tin but from a different company, theirs is just deep red right there, as opposed to this tin from this company that is just red. Azure and illustration marker is what these are illustration markers, and this is Azure. You can find these at Walmart, and this their tin is called red right there. You were at 9.6, so very, very close this time. Um, I think we have to feed it, kind of spoon feed TikTok, like a little baby, um, so that it can digest it all, if you will, Casey. But I appreciate you guys like sharing and following. All right, so we did the social experiment. We're going to do social experiment part two because we're clean and clear on that first social experiment. This is part two. Part two. Horror series. Batman Who Laughs. Harley Who Laughs. Metal Cage Mask. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. We are doing social experiment part two, and I'll explain it all later in the broadcast as well. Harlequin, the Harley Who Laughs. First mask, I believe. Me as Wolverine. Bum, bum, bum. If you can't see the facial expression, it's mine. I posed for this, actually. Part of the novels I'm included with, this is called The Knot. Man Thing, Swamp Thing, trees from Lord of the Rings, all rolled into one. This is Harrow from the same book series, from the same novel. He has razor wire wrapped around his wrists, and this one he's shooting out towards you. Right there. All right. Social experiment part two over. And we'll see what comes of that. What dreams may come, perchance. Okay, so now I welcome everybody to the broadcast channel. It's going to get a little bit ticky tabby, if you will. And you can tell me, if I'm in the wrong. If I'm in the wrong, right. Okay, so back on, and I brought notes. Back on January 2nd, I am approached by someone. I'm not going to give names because I've already done that. I've already given where they worked on some other broadcasts before. Um, And so January 2nd at roughly around 7:30 p.m. at night. My office hours are pretty much all the time. Since I do artwork, illustration and homestead. So, hello, I have a request, sir. A mutual friend has passed, and I want to get something made to remember her by. He sends me a picture that she had done up for him, which was an Steve Austin uh, card, a playing card size, the 3.5 by 2.5. And he sends me a picture of that and says, she had you draw this for me. I knew which card it was. I knew who he was because I remember the whole situation whenever she had it done up. And this is, again, a mutual friend who passed away right on December 31st, last day of December. Just didn't wake up the next day, and she was found and gone. So, um, so we chit chat, and I give him sizes and tell him what the price is going to be. And I even reduce the price less than half price because it is a memorial piece, it is a mutual friend, so on and so forth. And so I take and reduce the price considerably. And he says, whatever you can do, I don't have a ton of money. This is more for the heart than anything, but I'll pay what I can. Maybe a witch hat, lol. She was a witch. She was into Wicca, all that good stuff. And she says, maybe on Stitch or something. And I said, I hear you. We can do the 11 by 17, or it's 11 by 15 size. Normally $250 for 125. Okay, that's a huge discount just because it is a memorial piece of someone we both know. And it says, if that works for you and you can pay it out over time, pay it out over time. He said, it gets easier, right? Talking about the death and all that stuff. And I said, and he also said, yes, I would do that, meaning he would pay it out over time. And then I tell him, because if you have been on my platform at any point in time, I lost my son in 2009. It does not get easier. So any death does not get easier, especially if it's someone really close to you. I said, you just cope with it differently, and told him about the loss of my son in 2009, yada, yada, yada. Well, that conversation all took place on the 2nd of January. February 3rd rolls around. I've sent him some pictures of the piece. This is the piece in question, still not finished. This is the piece in question. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here, and appreciate everybody being here and stopping in. February 3rd, 1 month later, rolls around. I like the concept. She'd have this tattooed. And I said, yes, she would have. And so the very next day, so we doing cash, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App for payment. Not finished yet, but getting close. And then that was on the 4th. No response. Shows that he read it. And then on the 11th, I sent him which option and when is best for you. And he says Cash App and the next check likely in 10 days. Okay, so that would put it at the 21st of February. So I send in my Cash App tag that same day, the 11th. Well, 10 days rolls around, nothing. March 4th, January, February, March. We're 3 months into this now. Still no payment. And I put just checking on the 4th. Now, mind you, I drive past this person's business every day going to the gym. I know when the company changed hands, which was in 2025. It was either October or November of 2025 when the company changed over to its new moniker. Okay. This is now March 4th, 3 months in, no payment. for this artwork, not finished yet, but for this artwork. And he tells me our company shut down and sold us. We are back up and running, but it's going to be a minute. We are now Max Home Furnishings, which I already knew that. Like I said, I drive past that business, that establishment every fucking day, going to work, going to the gym, not going to work because this is my work. So 3 months in, October or November of last year, the 2025 season. Sorry about that. They'd already put the new signs up saying that we are now Max Home Furnishings instead of Aaron or whichever rental company it was at the time. So I'd already seen the changeover. That was 5 months ago. 5 months ago when they changed hands. And now he's telling me that our company just sold in March. No. You can't play me for a fool, especially when I drive past the establishment every damn day, going to the gym 5 times a week, which I'll be going to the gym today. So I say gotcha to that statement because I know he's already lying to me. Absolutely. In my neck of the woods where I am from, you keep business straight on on your word. Absolutely. And it's just like the bartering system. Um, in Alaska, and so there's other places that the bartering system still is in effect, but it's not as relevant as it is in Alaska. So the 15th, I say, just keep me in the loop. So after that initial conversation of him telling me that they sold, which was on the 4th, I come back on the 15th because I'm just, you know, stewing in the whole thing. And so on the 15th, I come back with just keep me in the loop. 4 months later, on the 2nd, I say, so where are we at? It's been over 3 months since you agreed to this commission and at a reduced rate. So when will I see the first payment? He said, what was the agreement? 125? What was the size? I'm seeing if the team, now he's talking to the team to see if they'll chip in to help pay for something he commissioned. I tell him the size was 11 by 15. It was normally 250, and I cut it at a reduced rate just because of it being for Crystal. And I'm seeing if the team will chip in and pay at once. Sounds good, thank you. And then the very next day, and the verdict is 2 of the team will chip in. Payday is Friday, so we'll send you something then. Okay, sounds good. Well, Friday rolls around. I resend my Cash App tag with a thanks in advance. Friday at 7:30 p.m. at night, just checking in, shows he reads it. The very next day, Saturday, I say, so once again, no payment sent through. And then I send a clip showing his agreement to the size, to the price, and all that stuff. And Mitcho Bean, you can go find somebody else that's going to say that for you because it's not going to happen here. So I said, even on a payment plan, which you agreed to with the I can do that, and next month on the 2nd is 5 months. 125 divided by 5 is $25 a month. But yet, I haven't seen anything, meaning a single payment, since you agreed to this commission on the 2nd. And then he comes back at me as I'm the problem. Because I've been showing him, progress pictures from day one when I started the project in just the pencil form to the inked form to the colorization form. And then I took all those away so he couldn't use those. And here's what he says. And I'm not going to read all the rest of the transaction after this, but he says, "Your approach isn't working for me, sir. I think we can just close this idea out. I'm not someone that responds to this type of behavior or attitude. She was my friend, and that idea was to help leave something to remember her by, not about money. You push worse than a collection agency. And that is why you haven't gotten a payment from me." I went off. I told him, pretty much, yeah. He projected on me his own guilt. And so I went off because I told him I have been relatively calm and collected up until this point. Because you are the one that agreed to this transaction. You are the one that approached me for a commission. But then you're telling me I'm the problem because I'm asking when I'm going to get the first payment nearly 5 months into the project when it's almost completely finished, drawn up, and I'm the problem. No, the problem is, sir, you are the manager of an establishment. So what is the policy of payments at your business, at a rental agreement place? That someone comes in and they pay when they can? No, you repo that shit, right? If they can't pay, you go to their house and pick that shit back up. Luckily, you do not have the product in hand. Yes, he has finally made his first payment 4 months into the progress of this as of last night, after he told me I was the problem. And so that's not the way you conduct business, sir. If you come at an artist and I did this, I'd have to say he's probably in his 30s, old enough to know better, still of the younger generation that eats Tide Pods. Um, if you come at an artist, have the money ready. I do payment plans, as I showed you right off the bat, which he agreed to right off the bat. And this is the first time I've had this issue. He gives me this whole story about how there's some heartaches and things like that happening in his household that he just doesn't want to talk about, blah blah blah. And then he's like, "But it's your responsibility to call me." Fuck that. No, it's not my responsibility to call you. You, sir, are the client, not me. If you're having hardships in your home, then you can text me or call me. I may or may not pick up the phone if you call me, but you can leave a text or a message on my phone because it does have that little thing, where you can leave a message. But it's not my responsibility to call you because I have been communicating with you every fucking month just trying to get a payment. And we finally get one. And he said, "I'm not comfortable." Absolutely. Um, and so, it as the business, it is not my responsibility to call you and be like, "Hey, what the fuck's going on?" Because you can reiterate all the stuff that's going on in your life to me, and I can decide if you're full of shit or not. But I'm the problem because I wanted payment 5 months, nearly 5 months into the project, with an almost complete project done. And now he only has $104 left to pay on it. So that gives you an idea of what he paid yesterday. And because he showed me a whole screenshot of his Cash App, and it was like, well, and $25 of that was going to be for you. I was just like, oh, gee, thanks. I'm glad you're making such a sacrifice when you could have been pretty much paid off already had you made payments every month up until next month. So supposedly on the 24th, which is in what, a few days from now, 10 plus days from now, I'm supposed to get another payment potentially. But again, this is the manager of a business. I hope all managers aren't like this in their businesses. But I'm worse than a collection agency. Aren't you guys a collection agency whenever you rent furniture to somebody and they don't pay you? Hmm. But I'm worse than you guys. Let that sink in. Absolutely is my point exactly. As Casey pointed out, how can you be a manager when one said, yes, exactly. That's exactly where we're at, Casey. And wow, another Danny Bonaducci quote. Oh my goodness, never heard that before in my life. But hey, how's it going out there? um, but yes, as Casey pointed out, how can you be a manager when said one can't manage own affairs? Absolutely. Um, but yeah, he gave me this whole hardship story about what all is happening in his life supposedly, and I just can't. You know, I have to take it with a grain of salt on that note because I cannot prove or disprove any of the stuff that he is telling me. Um, Other than he never made payment up until yesterday. Um, he did want to cancel the project completely, which I would have been fine with, you know, had he done it because I'm sure I could have sold it elsewhere just because of the content that it is. It's a witch and it's Stitch and all that good stuff. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, um, again, I don't know the true circumstances with this guy, but he gives me this heartstring of a story, you know, and it's like, dude, I've heard it all. I've been through it all. You want some heartstring stories? I've had 2 heart attacks. My sister was killed by a drunk driver in 2008. My son died in an ATV accident on 2009. My grandfather, my father figure, passed away in 2010. Less than a year apart, 2008, 2009, 2010. And I was hit with an IED in Afghanistan. I was in firefights in Afghanistan. But you're giving me these heartstring stories about how your company did this and did that and all this other stuff. And my hiking backpack is in another room. I'm not going to pull it out. It's the same one I used to go to the gym with. So if you see me at the gym, you can see the hiking backpack. Um, and so yes, I went to war. Yes, I was sent to war, um, in the Middle East. And so don't try to pull these heartstring stories because I can outdo your heartstring stories in a heartbeat. No questions asked. But I still seem to make payments on time when I'm supposed to make payments. Hmm, okay, but you can't, and you're getting a salary, and you're getting commission because of what you sell. Because you do get commission when you sell something, even at a rental place. So, you know, am I compassionate with it all? Probably not. Should I be? Probably not. Because people give you stories all the time. And I know I'm not the only one that gets a story told to them. Um, I've seen other artists that, you know, that are doing their Kickstarter campaign. Let's go that route. And people back out of the Kickstarter campaign, so that makes their project short or fall short of their goal. And why do they pull out? Because they don't like the project, they don't like the creator, they don't like, whatever. Okay, cool. Let that person know that you're pulling out. Don't let them find out that, hey, we were at goal, but now we're not, you know, plus all that good stuff. And it's like this guy turned me into the problem because I was asking for payment nearly 5 months into the project that's almost complete. And he still hadn't made a payment until yesterday. And $21 at that, because that's all I had left. He sold his good name for what? He soiled his name, is what he did, because I will never work with this person again. Once this project is paid for and done, that's it. Uh, and truth be told, I'll probably end up finishing it here within the next X amount of days. And absolutely, I was on Mythbusters. You want me to pull out my little funky hat and my glasses? Again, another new one coming out of the woodworks. And and so I have no compassion for people like this. Period. You see all the heartstring stories out there that people want to play on people's emotions, but I don't have any. So you can take that mini violin and play to somebody else. Like I said, I will probably end up finishing it just to get it done and out of my hair, and then wait for all the payments to come in and go from that retrospect on there. So we did not get a restriction today. So it proves a point to me that if I talk about the items that I'm showing, it suspects that I am telling you to do something I'm not. And so the experiment worked. We're still on the air. We haven't been restricted, period. And we just went through basically 30 plus days worth of clothing, 10 or so different pieces of artwork, and no restriction. So it proves a point. The AI listens to what you say. The AI doesn't care what you show, it listens to what you say. That's why you can get, well, that is incorrect because it also watches. So, how some people can stay on the air, I don't know. Because, like I said, I can pull up one of my pictures drawn on a comic book cover and get a restriction for nudity that is too close to realism. And so it's like, so it does watch as well as listen, but I think it listens more than it watches because normally, whenever I do show this stuff right here, I end up getting a restriction because I'm talking about it as well at the same time. But today we did not get a restriction. So that's pretty awesome. Um, but yeah, the whole artwork debacle thing. If you go at an artist and you commission them, have your money together, have your money ready. And like I said, I do a payment plan. I do a layaway. And you know, like I said, the 125 divided by 5 is $25 a month. The dude has gone out to eat more times than that and spent way more than $25 to go out to eat for him and his wife. And if he's got kids, definitely. No, we have not. That's what I was talking about. We have not gotten a restriction. We're 52 minutes into the show, and we did not get a restriction. So it just goes to prove my social experiment was correct, that it listens more than it watches. But yet, I can pull up this picture of Chun Li on my Street Fighters cover, and I would get a restriction even though she's censored because it goes against their policy, their nudity policy. And if you know where that comes from, it comes from MASH with Radar. Nudity makes me breathe funny. And so, yes, it's a pretty exciting thing to be able to show everything and know everything and not get a restriction for once on the show, you know? Because it seems like for the past couple months, every time I talk about the stuff, I get a restriction. I even showed the novel I did the cover work on. I'm in the process of working on novel number 2. I've seen every episode too. The ex-wife and I used to play that uh, at night to fall asleep to. I mean, you might get a restriction. I wouldn't get a restriction, but you go ahead, throw up your middle finger. I see people doing it on their pictures all the time. All that goody good stuff. Let's see if we get a restriction real quick. Smoked one and crashed a mash. Yeah, I mean it was a decent show. I mean it was fun. It was they kept it real for the time period and brought in the real issues and things like that. Um, but they kept it lighthearted as well. It was a good show. And yes, I watched all the episodes. Watched the pilot episode, and watched the movie with Donald Sutherland in it. None of the original cast was in it, but I do not see. You do not have it on here, so it's not showing up there, Roy. And what song do I feel fits this reality? Welcome to the jungle, baby. We got fun and games. We got everything you want, honey. We know the names. It's not here, so I don't know. Yes, yes, he did a great job as Hawkeye, and not from MCU stuff. This is from MASH, Mobile Army, whatever the rest of it stood for. MASH 4077. But yeah, Roy, it's not showing up, so they're blocking you. Absolutely on that. 100% on the radio dial. We're at 26,000 likes, which is great for the popular live category. We appreciate you coming in and checking out the channel. This is Monty Anderson with 412 Productions. We are not checking out. We are still going. So, the whole MASH stuff is pretty cool stuff. You probably will. Yes, surgical hospital. That's what it stood for. But yeah, it's not showing you flipping anybody off over here, Roy. So you're good. If you haven't gone to jail yet because you're still texting and typing, I think you're good. I think it just restricts certain things because everybody in today's society is sensitive little bitches. Let's just put it that way. You guys of this generation would not have survived the 60s. Let's just put from the 1920s to the early 1990s. You guys would not have survived. Period. Um, because this generation is nothing but a bunch of sensitive little pussies. And I'm gonna say it. You know, uh, and it shows on a regular basis. And I'm not sensitive. I'm mean. And I can be too. I know I can be, but I try to keep that at a minimum. There we go. There we go. I've been restricted for 10 minutes because hold on, what does it say? Not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results for the next 10 minutes because your live does not comply with the For You feed eligibility standards under our community guidelines, reasoning, harassment, and bullying. My live does not talk about. There we go. So we did get a live restriction because I am now harassing and bullying a generation. Wow. I got 2 restrictions. And I don't know which restrictions I got, you know, and I really don't give a shit because stop being a sensitive pussy. Let's see here. Your live contains themes that some may find uncomfortable and has been restricted. Harassment and bullying. Harassment and bullying. So both of them are harassment and bullying. Um, so there you go. We did get our restriction finally. Basically an hour into the show. No, it's not you. It was me because I was calling this generation what I called them. And TikTok, in their ever present AI wisdom, is like, oh no, we can't say that on our air, even though you guys let worse go through. TikTok, you let worse go through than what I just said to a whole entire fucking generation. Okay? And as I scroll TikTok, I see worse than what I just talked about, calling a generation what I call them. And, you know, I'm going to let it ride because I could call you guys a lot worse because you're part of that generation, TikTok. And, it is what it is. No, it wasn't you, Roy. So, I mean, you can take your sip of your energy drink and think it was you, but it wasn't. It was what I said. Because, again, your middle finger isn't showing up coming through here. So they've got you blocked on that. And it was what I said, what I called the whole generation over here for being sensitive, little kitty cats. I mean, I guess I could have put it that way for you. Oh, you going to bed, poor little feller. Oh, they'll probably give me on that one too. Oh, I called you a little feller. Oh, sensitive little. But it's stupid that you have to change words because of sensitivity. Um, and you shouldn't have to, no matter what you're doing, because, like I said, I see a lot worse out there whenever I'm just scrolling TikTok than what I just called an entire generation. And, you know, does TikTok hurt my feelings? No. Discussing social commentary and artistic censorship. Yeah, because you're the one giving the censorship, TikTok. You give the censorship to stupid reasons. Okay. And just prove my point. I'll catch you on the flippity floppity flippity flip 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 my croc side. Why are you going to bed now? Are you crashing out? Are you crashing and burning? Do you feel the burn? Do you feel the burn in your glutes from Bill? And your Mayo trip? But no, the okay, peace out. Bye, Roy. Have a great night. Since you can't go to sleep at a regular hour and wake up when normal hours happen. Bye. Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's all I can say. I'm glad you were here for most of the show. You gonna give us the middle finger on your way out too? We'd like to see it. We'd like to see it come through. Oh, you're quoting Arnold Schwarzenegger? I'll be back. Get to the chopper. He did say flip flop. He's putting his flip flop on and flopping to the bed. I guess I don't know. When he usually just sleeps right there in his chair. Drool going down. But yet he's still here commenting, and he's trying to give us the middle finger, but TikTok is restricting that. So there you go. TikTok is saying no, you cannot show the middle finger in typing form, but yet you can have pictures of it out there, and and you can show it on your live, but we're on the ninth hole, and Roy, you gonna exit stage left or what the fuck, man? I appreciate the comments. That helps us go out there. At 28.3 thousand likes, keeps us in the popular category. You too, cool dude Roy. There you go. So you got a cool dude Roy. He almost said cool Miracle Whip boy Roy, but he left out the Miracle Whip. Unlike you at this present juncture, taking that Miracle Whip with you, which is kind of disturbing and gross. But you enjoy that Miracle Whip. They make lotion for that. Was thinking Cool Whip. Oh, Lordy. Keep the Brillo pad away with that Miracle Whip. But no, I do appreciate each and everybody being here, even though we did get a restriction at the end of the show, calling TikTok and a generation what we called them, and I really don't care. Um, it, it is too sensitive, you know. Flip flop. Yes, he did say flip flop up there. But it's true. I'm just speaking the truth. This generation would not survive, like I said, from the 1920s to the early 1990s. Um, they'd be in culture shock. The things that we survived as kids, um, the things we saw, the things we did, you know. And it's just like, to each their own, you know. Yeah, they wouldn't eat. I saw a whole conversation. Is it child abuse to tell your child uh, eat what's on the table or don't eat at all? No, it wasn't child abuse. You know, if we didn't eat, we didn't eat because we didn't want it. You know, and it should have taught you some lessons growing up. But now, if you on purposely fix something that you know your child is not going to eat, and then you try to force them to eat it, that could be a different story. But because most of the time your parents made food that everybody would eat at the table back in our generation. Of course, mine was school food, leftovers from this middle school to high school that my mother would bring home. Uh, those type of things. The square pizzas, the square school pizzas, the the Friday mystery surprise, because they just basically took all the different foods that were left over and kind of mashed them together into something new for Friday, just to get rid of it. Um, Mystery Meat Friday, you know. I know not so much anymore because most of your schools have fucking restaurants inside of them, which is just ridiculous. Um, oh, you want to go to McDonald's? Let's go to the cafeteria. Exactly. Sometimes we had to eat what was there because it was good for you. Absolutely. And it was health conscious stuff, you know. And literally back then, a lot of our foods didn't have as many preservatives in them as they do now. That's why I like to grow my own, you know. And that's not a 420 phrase. That is growing my own vegetables in my garden and things like that. Fresh eggs on a daily basis with my homesteading side, with the chickens and the ducks and the geese. Um, haven't got to the butchering aspect yet, but we plan on doing that one of these days. Just you have to have a whole different crop of birds for that, what they call heavies, because they grow faster. Within 8 weeks, they're ready for the frying pan, if you will. But just haven't got there yet with that group of chickens. So, one of these days, one of these days. Because it's just healthier. It's fresher for you, and you don't have to worry about all the chemicals being injected into your food when you get it from a homesteader. Just because, if you what the shit you buy in the store has been injected with so much stuff to keep it fresh and preserved that it's not even healthy for you anymore. So, there you go on that note. We are at 30.4 thousand likes. Appreciate that because we are at the popular live category due to likes and comments. Comments have been flowing through like regular clockwork here lately, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Um, I'm trying to see if we're still going on a restriction up there because it's showing we're in the green, but I could still have my restrictions for what I said, which I do not apologize for, and I will not apologize. It's just like the whole artwork debacle. I'm not going to apologize for that. If anybody should apologize, it's him, the client, needs to apologize to me. But but we are basically the 10 minutes in from the restrictions, so I'm gonna see because I'm gonna put lettuces and most likely some cabbage in the new bed that I've got. I just got to get some more dirt uh, because, like I said, I've got one full bed ready and plants already growing in it. The second bed, I just put some dirt into a portion of it, so 3/4 of it has vegetables in it: cucumbers, beets, radishes, rosemary, basil, things like that. And so we are, the next bed is going to have my cabbages and lettuces and stuff like that in it. So we'll look forward to that. And should do pretty well. Should do pretty well. Hopefully it does. We'll see. I'm trying a new method, which is the decomposting method or composting method, which composts the stuff underneath the dirt as the season goes through, which enriches the soil and enriches your crop above. But I also am going to use what Casey suggested here, not here, but in another conversation, the copper rod method. Um, just got to get me some copper wire and go from there. put the little antennas up towards the sky to suck in that energy from the sky. You know, yes, absolutely, plenty of nitrogen, and if I wanted to, I could use my duck water, which has plenty of nitrogen in it as well, to water the plants with, um, and go that route with that because that helps your plants as well. Just I've got 4 ponds that I could pull the duck water out of, and they're basically your kiddie pools that the ducks and the geese bathe in, you know, so that they can wash themselves and all that good stuff. So there's that. On that note, all right, folks, I think I am going to kill it for now. That's the live show, nothing else, TikTok. And I do appreciate each and everybody being here, checking out the channel, and being here for the social experiment right off the bat, um, which was a great success. It was only me saying something towards the end of the show, 58 minutes into the show or 55 minutes into the show, whatever it was, that got the restriction because I called an entire generation what I called them, sensitive little kitty cats. Um, and so, then we got our restriction. But we're going to kill it for now. And as I like to say as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.